Just for Kids video. If you're having a little trouble with the picture on the TV now, maybe you just need to adjust the tracking on your VCR. That's the little switcher button just at the bottom of your tape player. If you need help, just call Mom or Dad or Big Brother or Big Sister. They'll help you. And be sure you stay tuned after the show, because I'm going to tell you how you can get a free video. See you soon, and enjoy the show.
Hello, my name is Joy. Another Human Race Club meeting is just about to begin and you're invited to attend. But you'd better hurry into the treehouse if you don't want to miss anything.
Okay, you guys, it's time to start our meeting. Hey, Casey, it's your sister.
Hi. I baked some cookies and I was wondering if you and your friends would like to have some.
Gee, thanks.
Sure. You're welcome. I'll see you later.
See you at home. And just what was that all about?
That was my sister. She baked some cookies for us.
But why is your sister baking cookies for us?
I don't know. Maybe it's because she likes us.
Don't be dumb, Casey. Older brothers and sisters don't like younger brothers and sisters.
AJ's right, Casey. If any of my older brothers bought me a bag of cookies, The first thing I do is check the bag to see if it contained a bomb. And the next thing I would do is make sure the cookies hadn't been laced with poison.
I think it was nice of Teresa to bring Casey and us some cookies.
Of course it was nice, Pamela. But AJ and Maggie's point is that sisters and brothers just don't do nice things for each other for no reason.
My sister has not always been nice to me. Don't you remember how she used to embarrass me in front of you guys? And everyone else, for that matter.
So, what's the reason for the big change?
Well, one day when my sister was about to turn 16...
I think I know what caused the big change. A lot of it had to do with something that happened at Teresa's 16th birthday party. It was 9 o'clock on a Saturday night. The main hall in the Veterans Building pulsated with the sound of top 40 music blasting through several large speakers. 2 rows of folding chairs encircled the huge room, and a gyrating mass of teenage bodies filled the center of it. Teresa O'Reilly, Casey's older sister, huddled in a corner of the room with her 4 best friends. It was Teresa's idea to celebrate all 5 girls turning 16 with a combined birthday party. Finally, after months of planning and preparation, the party was in motion. Casey gazed through the window of the projection room at the party going on below him. He had been standing guard over the slide projector for almost an hour, and he had no intention of leaving his post. As an extra precaution, he had locked the door to the small room behind him.
In 30 minutes, it'll all be worth it.
Casey thought to himself as he looked at the clock on the wall. Then his eyes returned to the dance floor. He gazed at the energetic teenagers, but he wasn't thinking about them. Instead, his mind wandered back to the events that led up to his present obsession with the upcoming slide presentation. As far back as Casey could remember, Teresa had shown no mercy whenever there was an opportunity to embarrass her younger sibling.
My brother has a crush on you,
Teresa announced to the girl Casey had secretly loved since first grade.
He really shouldn't have any.
She instructed a neighbor who offered Casey some cookies.
As you can see, Casey has a problem with overeating.
And then there was the time Teresa tattled to Grandma O'Reilly.
Casey told Mom that he doesn't like spending the night at your house.
But the most embarrassing moment of all happened one afternoon while Casey was leaving the house with several friends. The boys were on their way to a campout. Teresa came running after them, waving Casey's worn-out teddy bear over her head.
Hey, Casey! You can't forget your teddy. You know you can't get to sleep without him.
This was the incident that prompted Casey's parents to agree with him that Teresa's teasing was getting out of hand.
Why don't you make a deal that neither of you will embarrass the other?
I'm willing to make a deal like that.
Then, in an effort to appease her parents, Teresa said,
Okay.
But even as the 2 siblings were shaking hands on it, Casey knew that his sister would never follow through with the bargain. He was right. 2 days after the deal was made, Casey fell prey to another of Teresa's embarrassing remarks.
Just once I'd like to get back at her.
Then, one day, something very interesting happened. From the very beginning, the 5 friends agreed that a slide presentation featuring all of them would be a fun addition to the party. They met often to sort through their family's slide collections. One day at the O'Reillys, the girls were working on their project when they decided to take a break. While they were out of the room getting snacks, Casey wandered in. He ambled over to the large table which was covered with slides. Absent-mindedly, Casey began picking through a box of slides that Teresa had set aside for sorting. One by one, he held the tiny transparencies up to the light.
These were taken last summer during our family camping trip. I wonder why...
Suddenly, Casey remembered something that caused him to drop the slide he was holding. His eyes widened and his mouth flew open. He glanced nervously around the room to make sure no one was watching. Then he snatched the box of slides off the table and ran to his bedroom. Once he was inside his room, Casey locked the door and rushed to his desk. He switched on the desk lamp, and with sweating palms and a pounding heart, he frantically began looking through the slides. Halfway through the stack, Casey found what he was looking for. He sank into his desk chair and stared into space. Instantly, Casey's thoughts went back to the O'Reillys' camping trip. He remembered the day he had taken the picture he was holding. It was the last day of the family's vacation, and like everyone else on the camping trip, Teresa had gone for days without showering or shampooing her hair. She was anything but a good sport about having to rough it, and the O'Reilly family had grown weary of her constant whining and complaining. Eager to make Teresa suffer for ruining his camping trip, Casey decided to do something he knew would infuriate his sister. He snapped her picture while she was using the portable camping potty. By the time Mrs. O'Reilly got around to getting the film developed, everyone had forgotten Casey's triumph with the camera. No one, including Teresa, remembered her demand that the slide be destroyed. Once again, Casey held the slide up to the light, moving it closer to get a better look. There sat Teresa, her pants down around her ankles, looking more unsightly than Casey had ever seen her. Casey chuckled gleefully as he tucked his treasure under the clutter in his desk drawer. Quickly, he put the rest of the slides back in their box and then, ever so cautiously, returned the box to where he had found it. That night at dinner, Casey found it difficult to conceal his excitement. When there was finally a pause in the conversation between Teresa and her parents, Casey spoke up.
Could I run the projector at the party?
No one mentioned the party or the slide presentation.
Hoping to avert an argument between her two children, Mrs. O'Reilly ignored Teresa's remark and spoke directly to Casey.
That's a wonderful idea.
Mr. O'Reilly nodded his head in agreement. Then, realizing that she was outnumbered, Teresa begrudgingly said yes to her brother's request. And that's how Casey came to be in charge of the slide projector at the party. Once again, Casey looked at the clock in the projection room. It read 9:15 p.m. He scanned the main area of the Veterans Building until he found his sister. She was dancing with her boyfriend, Roger.
I wonder what Roger is going to think of Teresa after he sees what she looks like when she's not all fixed up.
At that moment, Teresa glanced at her watch. She stopped dancing and began to round up her 4 friends. The 5 girls headed toward the projection room.
Oh, no! She's coming to check up on me.
Within seconds, Teresa was banging on the projection room door and demanding that Casey open it. Soon the pounding stopped and Casey pressed his ear to the door. He could hear the girls talking in the hallway.
Why is the door locked? I'll bet that Casey's up to something.
Before long, Teresa and her friends gave up and went back downstairs. Casey felt relieved. Casey watched his sister from where he was sitting. Teresa was talking to Roger when suddenly she stopped. A look of horror swept across her face, and she became white as a sheet. Slowly, Teresa turned her head toward the projection room. At that moment, Teresa's eyes met Casey's. Intuitively, Casey realized that his sister had figured out what he was about to do. Teresa ran back to the projection room and resumed banging on the door.
Please, please, don't do this to me.
Casey knew that Teresa was at his mercy. One flick of a switch and she'd be doomed. He had dreamed of this moment, but somehow it wasn't as enjoyable as he had thought it would be.
Casey, I'm on my hands and knees.
By now, she was almost crying. Casey's sister's begging reminded him of a condemned prisoner pleading for life, and Casey couldn't bear it. He did everything he could to ignore Teresa, but it was impossible. Slowly, Casey walked over to the projector. He stared at it for a while. Then he took the incriminating slide out of the tray. Casey walked to the door and opened it. There stood Teresa, too stunned to speak. Casey handed his sister the slide. She took it from his hand and held it up to the light. Then, with a look of sincerity in her eyes that Casey had never seen before, Teresa handed the slide back to Casey.
Will you keep this for me? I wouldn't want anyone here to see it. I can get it from you later.
Okay.
Are you ready to show the slide presentation?
Sure.
Teresa was hurrying down the stairs when she paused and looked back up at her brother.
Thanks, Casey. I'll never forget this.
Casey tucked the slide in his pocket and returned to the projector. He realized that things had not happened exactly the way he had planned. He hadn't gotten the revenge he had wanted so desperately.
But then again, maybe I got something better than revenge.
And with that, he turned on the projector. So, what can we learn from all of this? Conflicts between brothers and sisters are normal. However, it's important that these conflicts do not cause people to get hurt or things to get damaged. It was a good idea for Casey and Teresa to promise that they would not tease or do anything to embarrass each other. A lot of negative feelings and behavior could have been avoided if both Casey and Teresa had kept their promises. Everyone wins when brothers and sisters make and keep promises to behave respectfully towards one another. Time and experience had taught Casey that Teresa had no intentions of treating him respectfully. Now, knowing this, Casey should have avoided Teresa, since she couldn't abuse him if he weren't around her. And in situations where Casey could not avoid Teresa, he needed to ignore her. It would have been difficult for Teresa to bother Casey if he would have ignored her. Casey's choice to refrain from hurting his sister was as good for him as it was for her. This is because Casey's positive behavior took away Teresa's desire to continue hurting Casey. It also motivated her to be kind to him. Being mean or getting back at someone seldom gets rid of a problem. It usually makes things worse. Being kind and forgiving can often stop the vicious cycle in which brothers and sisters are constantly fighting and hurting one another. Teresa came to the clubhouse the other day. She had promised Casey that she would take him to the movies, and she was following through with her promise. I said to her, "You sure are a nice sister." And then she said, "Believe me, it's not hard being a nice sister when you have a nice brother like Casey." It's just about time for the meeting to be over. Why don't we go back into the treehouse to see what's happening?
And ever since, Teresa's been a great sister. No, I don't mean that we don't ever fight. We have our disagreements, just like every other brother and sister. It's just that we try hard to work things out because we know we really like each other.
Well, the approach you use with Teresa might have worked for you and her. But believe me, it would never have worked for me and my brother.
It wouldn't work for me and my brothers either.
How do you know? Have you ever tried it? Don't you wonder what would happen if just once you did something really nice for your brothers?
It's something to think about, Pamela. But for now, what can we do to let Teresa know that we really appreciate her baking these cookies for us?
All of us could write her thank you notes and send them home with Casey.
But what about our meeting?
We could postpone it until tomorrow.
Why don't we eat our cookies?
Yeah, good idea.
Why don't we eat our cookies?
You wouldn't eat these cookies without writing the person who gave them to you a thank you note, would you?
Okay. Where's some paper to write on?
Can we at least eat the cookies while we're writing?
Sure.
You know, there really are some advantages to being friends with your brothers and sisters.
You're probably right, Casey. You're probably right.
Casey is right. Good things happen when brothers and sisters become friends. Here's a song that will explain what I mean. It's called You Shouldn't Fight with Your Brothers and Sisters.
You shouldn't fight with your brothers and sisters when you're angry with them and they're angry with you. You shouldn't fight with your brothers and sisters, but if they start a fight, here's what you should do. First step, think about it. Ask yourself a question, do you want to be heard? Second step, talk about it. Ask them what they want to fight with you. Stand face to
If you'd like us to send you a free Just for Kids video, here's all you need to do. Collect 6 of our Just for Kids videos and send us the proof of purchase for each, along with this card too, Just for Kids, P.O. Box 4112, Woodland Hills, California 91367. That's all you have to do, and we'll send you a free Just for Kids video featuring some of our most popular characters. Be sure to look for these other Just for Kids videos in your store. See you next time.
Get ready to lose yourself in the beauty and the wonder of A Journey Through Fairyland. Just when Michael finds himself out of tune with this world, he finds himself in total harmony with another world and in love with a special new friend. She takes him on a magical trip to those wondrous places where all beautiful things come from. Flowerland and the incredible Music Land, where you'll meet the most lovable characters to ever fill your screen. The Cuddle Bubbles, the Flower Fairies, and the most mischievous little eighth note ever, treble. It's a journey you'll never forget through a world of breathtaking beauty, adrift on the flow of endless music.
Like the flowers in spring, I have come here to see Michael.
From original love songs to great masterpieces from the world of symphonies. If this small sampling isn't enough to convince you, listen to what the critics have to say. Young viewers should be uplifted by the images of love and success in this gentle tale. Adults, too, will find the animation and music compelling. Stunning sequences to jumpstart a child's developing imagination. And something like A Journey Through Fairyland comes along once in a great while. Best to snap it up while it's here. Recorded in stunning stereo by the famed Tokyo Philharmonic, this full-length animated feature is the perfect introduction to classical music for all, for an experience to remember forever you don't want to miss. A Journey Through Fairyland.